My best friend invited me to stay the night, then pointed to her only bed. I still remember the way the rain pounded against my windshield that Friday evening in Portland, Oregon, as if the sky itself was trying to stop me from driving any farther. My phone had almost no battery, my wallet held less than $20, and after losing my apartment earlier that day, I had nowhere left to go. Then one name appeared in my mind: Grace, my best friend from college, whom I hadn't spoken to in nearly 3 years. I hesitated before calling, convinced she had every reason to ignore me after the way life had quietly pulled us apart. Instead, she answered on the second ring and simply told me to come over. I had no idea that one small invitation would become the turning point that changed not only my future, but also hers. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, hope, forgiveness, compassion, and the power of second chances, please take a moment to like this video, leave a thoughtful comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt stories that remind us how one act of kindness can change a life forever. My name is Nathan, and until that week I believed I had everything under control. I had worked as a graphic designer for nearly 6 years. But company layoffs came without warning. Losing my job quickly became losing my apartment. Pride kept me from asking family for help because they had already sacrificed so much to help me through college. Every rejection email felt heavier than the last, and with every passing day, I became more convinced that failure had become my identity. Grace opened her apartment door with the same warm smile I remembered from years ago. She never asked uncomfortable questions or made me explain every mistake that had brought me there. She simply welcomed me inside, made hot soup, and let me sit in silence until I found the strength to speak. Her apartment was small, barely large enough for a kitchen, bathroom, and 1 bedroom. But somehow it felt more peaceful than any place I had lived before. As the evening grew late, I offered to sleep on the floor, or even in my car once the rain stopped. Grace quietly walked toward the bedroom, looked back at me with gentle eyes, and pointed toward her only bed. For a moment I didn't understand. There was no guest room, no couch large enough for sleeping, and certainly no hidden mattress. She calmly explained that she would sleep on a comfortable folding chair she sometimes used while studying because she couldn't let her oldest friend spend another night feeling abandoned. That simple act nearly broke me. It wasn't about the bed. It was about someone believing I still deserved dignity when I had stopped believing it myself. The next morning I noticed Grace leaving before sunrise. Curious, I followed from a distance after she insisted she had errands to run. Instead of heading to an office building, she entered a neighborhood food pantry where she spent hours organizing donations and helping struggling families. Later I learned she worked a full-time nursing job during the week and volunteered almost every weekend. She never posted about it online or looked for recognition. She simply believed that everyone deserved compassion because life could change without warning. Watching her quietly serve others while asking for nothing in return awakened something inside me. I stopped focusing only on my own problems and began volunteering beside her. Together we packed groceries, cleaned community gardens, and helped elderly neighbors carry heavy boxes into their homes. Every person we met reminded me that hardship came in many forms, yet hope always seemed to arrive through another human being willing to care. A week later, Grace surprised me again. Without telling me, she had shown my old design portfolio to the director of a nonprofit organization that desperately needed someone to redesign their website and promotional materials. They offered me a temporary contract. I poured every ounce of energy into that opportunity, determined not to waste the chance someone else had created through faith in me. The project became another project, then a permanent position. Within months, I had stable income again, a modest apartment, and something I hadn't felt in a long time, purpose. But the greatest lesson wasn't about rebuilding my career. It was learning that success means very little if we forget the people standing beside us during our lowest moments. Years later, Grace and I continued serving our community together. Whenever someone arrived at the food pantry embarrassed or ashamed of asking for help, I always remembered the night she gave up her only bed so I could sleep with dignity instead of despair. Her kindness had created a ripple that continued spreading far beyond either of us. Before this story comes to an end, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and tell us about someone whose unexpected kindness changed your life. Your story may encourage another viewer who is quietly struggling today. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking this video, sharing it with friends and family, and subscribing for more uplifting stories of hope, faith, and compassion. Your support helps these messages reach people who may need them most. Looking back now, I no longer remember how cold that rainy night felt, or how frightened I was about the future. What stays with me is the image of a best friend silently pointing toward her only bed, reminding me that real friendship isn't measured by comfort, wealth, or convenience. It's measured by the quiet sacrifices we make for each other when no one else is watching. Sometimes, the greatest miracle isn't finding a new beginning. Sometimes it's discovering that God places the right person at your door exactly when your heart needs hope the most.